Hi, everyone. I know that many of us feel strongly about the environment. Therefore, my initial intention was to speak about the devastating effects of fashion on our environment. I cringe every time I hear a friend of mine say, I can't wear that dress again. I've posted that picture on Instagram already. But anyhow, I changed my mind, so much so that I'd rather speak about consumerism more broadly. I'll go over the most influential books that I've read on my journey to becoming a minimalist. The trigger for me was The Monk Who Sold His Ferrari. It was actually written by a fellow Canadian, Robin Sharma, and the book taught me how to make more space in my life. Every object you have in your house is something that you must clean, dust, tidy, maintain, and even carry. The second book is titled Everything That Remains by Joshua Fields Millburn, and it sets out different rules. For example, the 20-20 rule. It goes like this. If you can get that object, a given object or item, within 20 miles of your home, or 20 kilometers in Europe, or within 20 minutes, you don't need to keep it. And this rule has actually helped me get rid of a lot of useless stuff. Redundant chargers for old phones, for example, or city maps that I never open, sorry. And here's the author's most inspiring quote. Love people and use things because the opposite never works. And he always signs off his podcast that way. I'll never forget that phrase. I think it really hits home. Book number 3 was penned by Fumio Sasaki, a famous Japanese minimalist. And the title is Goodbye Things. I believe the brightest tip of the book goes like this. Think of your neighborhood as your floor plan. So for example, do you really need a printer if you can just go to the shop a 5-minute walk away from your home to print something? If you need to print 1 or 2 papers twice a month, you probably don't need the whole thing in your home. The same goes for a gym. If you have a cheap gym near your house, or even better, a nice park, do you really need to buy an exercise bench, free weights, straps, a huge exercise ball? You don't need all of that extra stuff. Fourth on today's list is The Joy of Less by Francine Jay. The book is an entertaining and practical guide on how to declutter your home. It suggests a series of habits. For example, habit number 1 is 1 in, 1 out. That usually applies to your closet. And if you need help choosing what to throw out, just look at what you haven't worn in the past 6 months or in the past year. Believe me, if you haven't used it or touched it or wanted to use it in the past year, you won't wear it again. Another rule, I really like this one, is the 3-33 rule. So for 3 months, you can only wear 33 items of clothing, shoes included. You'd actually be stunned by how good you look because you're only rotating the clothes that you like, your best outfits. You're keeping the best colors that match together, the best fits, and what you feel good in. Parenthetically, the best way to give your frumpiest items, your worst items, a facelift is to visit your tailor. You can make a piece of garbage clothing look great if the fit is right. Anyway, in reality, no one cares what you wear. Believe me, people have enough on their mind already. The last piece of advice in that book, in The Joy of Less, is borrow, don't buy. We live in an era of access. You can get temporary access to anything you want. So you probably don't need to own most of the things that you desire. Lastly, I'd like to recommend the Holy Bible, the Holy Quran, and practically any religious or philosophical book. Religion aside, those books happen to be great reminders of what truly matters: virtue, time, peace, selflessness. Those books are timeless and actually refreshing because they pay little attention to material possessions in an era in which we're way too obsessed with actual things and too dismissive of what truly matters in life, in my opinion. Thank you for listening.